Hello, and welcome to Youth Positively Speaking. My name is Paige Ewing, and I work with Prevention Resources as the multimedia specialist for Positive Youth. Prevention Resources is a nonprofit located in New Jersey that is dedicated to promoting health and wellness of individuals, families, and community through education, collaboration, advocacy, and treatment. Today, I have with me my co-host, Erin Cohen, the project coordinator of Positive Youth.
Hey everyone, again, it's Erin, and the Positive Youth Initiative focuses on building countywide capacity to reduce substance misuse for youth in Hunterdon County, ages 9 to 20.
And today we have with us two featured youth members, Delaina and Ashley. So Delaina, welcome back to the podcast. You've been here before, but why don't you introduce yourself for any newcomers?
Hi, I'm Delaina, and I'm currently a senior in high school.
Awesome.
So very
and
exciting
also,
time for you.
I know.
Yes, for sure.
And we also have on the podcast with us Ashley. So welcome, Ashley. Welcome, and introduce yourself too.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I just finished my freshman year in college, so I'm about to be a sophomore, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, we are super excited to have you both because it's May. So that means prom season. We're a month away from graduation. And so we kind of want to have this little conversation about prom and graduation season. You know, we have Ashley as like the been there, done that. I know what it's like. And then Delaina, we have you to be like, what are you looking forward to? What are some of the things that you're like, oh, this is what prom's going to be like, or graduation? Of course, we're during COVID times, so it's a little different and a little weird. But we're super excited to be having this conversation. And I'm sure you two are excited about, Delaina, prom. Come on.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
So Delaina, when is prom?
Currently prom right now, it's June 9th, so it's a Thursday, and it's in Pennsylvania. So it's a little far away. Yeah, because of COVID and everything, the restrictions are a little different there. So that's where it's right now.
Okay, but see, you're getting to have it. I know Ashley, when she was a senior last year, they lost out on prom. So at least that this year you're going to be able to have prom. So what's your plan, Delaina? What's the plan? Do you have a prom date? Are you going with a group of people? Are you getting a limo? Like what are the details?
Right now I'm going with my boyfriend, and we're driving up together with a couple of friends up to Pennsylvania. And we'll take pictures beforehand at someone's house, like the usual thing. It's not a lot of people. It's probably like a group of 10. It's just my close friends. And then we're going to Pennsylvania for our prom. The whole prom right now, it's like, we're not really sure if we're going to be able to dance or anything. And there's no sit down dinner. They said it would just be like appetizers and stuff. And then we're going to leave at around 9 and go down to the beach.
Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing. So Paige and I were talking a lot about what happens with kids here and what they do. So they go to the beach, they go to the Poconos. So you guys have a plan to go down to the shore.
Yes, my friend group right now, our plan is to drive down to LBI. That's where we're staying. But I know two other groups who are staying in the Poconos. So they're going to be in the woods for the weekend.
So beach or woods. That's what I always say. The best part about living around here, you can get an hour to the mountains and an hour to the beach, right?
Yep, definitely.
And Ashley, I know you didn't get to have your senior prom last year because of COVID and stuff, but I do know that you did go to prom.
Yes. So I actually went with Paige's sister to her junior prom, which was super fun. And it was nice because I didn't know anybody. So I could just be as crazy as I wanted to without people judging me, which was super fun. And then I actually didn't go to my junior prom because the kid that I was dating at the time didn't want to go. So I was like, it's fine. We don't have to go. And we ended up going out to dinner at Char instead. So that was really nice. And then I was like, okay, we'll go to senior prom, whatever. And then that got canceled. So that kind of sucks, but.
So when we're talking about prom and after prom, because this is, we're working on substance use and we talk about trying to reduce substance use. Are kids talking about drinking after the prom, using substances after the prom? You don't have to tell me what your plan is or what you guys have done, but we're really just trying to get a feel of what kids around here do when they go down to the beach. Are their parents supervising? Is it just you guys? Are people bringing alcohol? Do they have older siblings? Like, what's going on with that?
I think for the most part, a lot of people go down to the shore, and normally there's like no parents, like no guardians, and people, it's kind of just like a free for all. Like it's literally just everyone, just a bunch of kids in a house. It's like a frat party because there's no parents. Like this is everyone's like first time. People are like, oh, it's our last like time together. So yeah, when people do go away, it's like I've heard all over. It's just pretty much like a big party for like a weekend.
Yeah, so lots of alcohol and everything being consumed.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys make a plan? Do you talk with your friends about what you can do? Like, what if you're drinking too much and, you know, somebody gets in trouble? And when I say in trouble, I'm not talking about with the law necessarily. I'm talking about, what if you have a friend that's passed out and they're like laid out or they're throwing up? Is there a plan for that? Do you guys talk about that beforehand, or you guys just go down and think, you know, we're just going to have a great time?
Pretty much it's like you want to just make sure like you're with close people. So like if you've been friends for a while, you pretty much have like plans and stuff already. Like everyone trusts each other and like make sure you're okay. Like I know people who have like had like bad experiences and now like they're all like not mature enough, but they have like the understanding of how serious the situation can get when there's like different like illegal substances involved. So I think it just depends on like the group of friends, and if you have like people that you trust and like you're close with, and like if there's like a parent nearby, because I know for my prom house, like one of the kids' mom is staying like in a condo nearby. Like there's 3 moms I think that are going down just because like they're not really comfortable like with us like all just staying down in the house by ourselves, and like God forbid something were to happen, like there's parents there. So I mean it just depends really on the friend group, but for the most part a lot of people, the prom house they go to is people they're really close with, so it's people you've had like these kind of conversations with to make sure like what do we do in case someone is passed out.
I do really like the fact that there's parents that'll be down there that you can call if there's an emergency. So Delaina, let me just ask you another question. Do kids know about the 911 Lifeline legislation? Meaning like if there's a kid that's in trouble, do they know to call and that they won't get in trouble themselves? Because I can even remember, you know, I was saying right before we started recording about none of you were born when I went to my senior prom. And I don't even like to say I'm old because I'm not old, but you know, talking to you guys, I am a little bit. But when I went to prom, you know, there were things that happened and to people, and we didn't have these types of things where we could call and we wouldn't get in trouble ourselves. Do you think that most kids and teens know about that, or do you think that they don't really know?
Actually, yeah, pretty much everyone that I know knows about it. Especially in like Teen Pep, we'll talk about it a lot, and like I'll bring it up and be like, oh, like yeah, there's like this legislation, and people are like, oh yeah, and I know about that. Like, so it's very like common knowledge now. Like a lot of people know about it, and everyone just kind of wants like they're like from what I know, like the people I talk to, everyone just wants like their friends to be safe. So like no one's really worried about like getting in trouble themselves.
Yeah. And I think that's so important. Like you go to prom with your friends, like maybe you're with a date, but like half the time you're just with your friends. And then like even after, you know, you want to be with friends. You don't really want to be with strangers because then like it's awkward and all that stuff. And I mean like, so Ashley, I know you didn't get to have a prom or graduation. But like when you went to Erica's prom or like even after like your drive-through graduation, like did you do anything like fun? Like did you do something?
Not really. I mean, when I went to prom with Erica, we just kind of like went out to dinner afterwards, which was really nice. And then some of her close friends just came back over the house and stayed over, which was nice because I didn't know anyone, so I felt comfortable with like the people that she chose because like I trust her opinion and stuff. Um, in regards to prom, like the kid that I was dating, we didn't plan on going to senior prom because he didn't want to go to prom. So we were going to go down to the beach because we had 2 different friend groups. So we were going to go and like rent like a little apartment together and then go to both of our like different friend groups' houses and stuff and just kind of like pop in. But then since COVID canceled prom and stuff, we didn't end up doing that. But I know a lot of kids in my grade, they kept their prom houses and still went and stuff. And they all had like a really good time and stuff. Yeah. but I didn't really do anything with that. I just like hung out with, well, not with him on prom because I was still in lockdown, but like afterwards we just had like our own little like graduation celebration kind of thing.
I mean, that's what I did when I went to prom. I don't even think I did anything after. I was exhausted. I was like, good night, goodbye. Okay. But it was like a few weeks later, my friend Maddie and I, we got a like lean-to cabin up at Stoke State Forest, and we like went hiking and camping, and like there's this really cool place called like the Teapot Falls in Tillman's Ravine. And so like we went swimming, and it was so much fun. And it's like no drinking, we didn't do any drugs or anything like that, because we were like, why? We're having a great time, like we don't need to do that. And I think that's like so many things, is like, if you want to go down to the beach like with a group of close friends, like awesome, like go down to the beach. But like there are so many other like alternatives that you can do. The sleepover that Erica had at our house with a few close friends, me going like camping with a friend. Like I think there's so many different things that like people don't even think about that you can do after graduation and prom.
So Delaina, when you guys go down to the beach, how long are you going to be there for?
We're staying so we get down there Thursday night. It'll probably be super late because we're leaving prom and it's from Pennsylvania. And then we're leaving like Tuesday morning-ish. So we're staying like a good portion of the days, because like all of our parents kind of feel bad for us just because of like the year we've had and stuff. So they're all like, yeah, you can miss school, it's fine. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Monday was always,
you're already going to graduate, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Monday was always senior ditch day on like that Monday, because everyone was like, nah, we're going to the beach, we're doing something.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm excited. I feel kind of bad for the people that have to go to the Poconos because there's not really much to do up there. I mean, at least being at the beach, we have like mini golf and like restaurants and the beach right there.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know really what goes on up in the woods, but
Yeah, I know. I mean, maybe they're going to be hiking, obviously the winter time you have all the skiing, but I do think that they have some other things, the Poconos does different things that you can do, like zip lining and stuff like that. Maybe they can find some fun things like that to do.
Yeah.
So would you say it's pretty common for kids? I mean, most kids that are going to houses afterwards. Sometimes they go back to like one of their own houses, or do you think most people like rent things and go?
Most people that I know of are renting things. Maybe it's just because of the year. They just want to like get out for the weekend. But right now, yeah, everyone that I know of is going either to the woods or to the beach for the weekend.
So one thing that has decreased over the years is drinking and driving, because there's so many other alternatives now with Uber and Lyft and things like that. But a third of all teen fatalities with car accidents happen between April and June, because you have all these different celebrations. Do you find that the kids around here, when they're going to beach houses or out into the mountains, do you find that everybody just stays there? Nobody's trying to leave and drive?
Yeah, no one is like planning on leaving. Like, there's pretty much nowhere to go once you're at like the house. And like if you were to go anywhere, everything's within walking distance. But especially even with like graduation and stuff, like everyone always makes sure to get a ride and stuff, because it's not really something cool to do anymore. Like I don't know if cool is the right word, but it was just more common, and it's very rare now.
And Ashley, I know like at your university that you go, like you guys have like that Safe Rides program.
Yeah, so I don't really know much about that because I wasn't on campus at all. But I know that like from my friends who got to go to college and stuff, who were like going to parties and stuff, a lot of them didn't have their cars on campus because they were freshmen. But like Uber in college is very, very common. And like if the university has like a bus or something that can take kids around campus, that's really common. And like I know in like regards to like drinking and driving, I'm actually going to the beach with my sorority at the end of May. And they said that every night that they're taking our keys so we can't go anywhere in case like people do drink, that they're not getting in cars, which is very smart, I think.
I think it's great. I think it's really great to take these different initiatives to try to keep yourself safe when you're doing things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and especially like with Lyft and Uber, like it's so easy to get around and like be like, oh, you know what? I'm not gonna get in this car. I'm cool. Like we don't need to do that.
Mhm.
But I am also kind of interested, like, alcohol is obviously something that everybody kind of thinks about, but like now with marijuana being decriminalized and gonna be legalized later in the year, like, do you think that people are gonna maybe do more of that at like prom and graduation parties this year because they think it's like easier to get and better? I see Ashley, she's like, yeah.
Well, I just because I know people who like would do that even when it wasn't legal. So now that it is, they're gonna be like, okay, why not?
Mhm.
It's like it's less like, what's it called? It's less of a consequence for them. So they're like, okay, I'll just try it. If everyone else is doing it, why not just try it?
Yeah, do you think that teens' perspectives of marijuana now that they're seeing that New Jersey's just legalized it, do you think their perception of it being harmful has changed? What do you think?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say definitely. I think with the whole like illegal aspect of it being pulled away, people are gonna be like, oh, like it's not that bad. Like I'll try it now, and then it could lead to like more problems in the future. And like how it's like the gateway drug and everything could lead to more drug usage. But I definitely think with that, like the illegal aspect being taken away, it's gonna allow a lot more people to think it's okay to try it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just so crazy because like, same conversation we have with alcohol now we're having with marijuana. Like our brains are not developed until we're 25. And so it's still illegal, for anybody under 21 to smoke pot, but like definitely availability and like we talk about like perception of harm, like how harmful do we think it is? And it's like, well, people are so relaxed about alcohol of, oh, I'll just have a drink. And now it's going to turn into, oh, I'll just smoke a joint, which is terrifying because it's still a drug and it's still illegal for youth and it's still going to affect people just as heavily as alcohol. And like we know in the back of our heads, like it's been drilled in our heads, like don't drink and drive, don't, alcohol poisoning, what does that look like? But we never think of like, don't drive high. And what does a weed overdose look like where like somebody needs medical attention because they've consumed too much THC? Like all those things I think we just haven't thought of yet, but I can see that totally being like the next prom thing or the next graduation party thing, like, hey, I have a bong, let's do this because it's new.
So it is celebration season. We're talking about graduation too, not just prom. So with graduation, what's the plan after graduation?
Right now, I know like a bunch of people are like lining up their grad parties. It's like hard to schedule them so people don't have them on the same day. But right now, people are just like planning on having like big like outdoor celebrations or like pool parties and stuff. And it depends on like how close you are, I guess, with the person. If like you can stay over, if you're gonna need a ride, like, or like what's gonna be happening. Like at my grad party, I'm having like a water slide, like a big blow up water slide.
Fun.
Yeah, so I'm like really excited for that. But yeah, like it just depends on like whose grad party you're going to, depending on like what's going to be going on at the grad party. But there's a bunch and they're like happening this year, I guess, because I don't really even know what restrictions are for outside parties right now, but I just know that they're lighter. So there's a
Yeah,
lot
they're definitely a lot later. So
Yeah.
with the graduation parties, I'm assuming a lot of them are going to be during the day, maybe going into the evening time. And I'm assuming parents are at these graduation parties and probably a lot of family, like maybe your grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and stuff like that. Is that right, Delaina?
Yeah, like it's like a whole big like all your friends, family, like people who live far and everyone drives to come, and like normally it's like adults and like family members from like 2 to 7, and then it's like your friends stay all day and you're like super like close friends or your best friends just sleep over.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like so much fun.
Ashley, because people like didn't have, like, I assume like they didn't have a big grad party last year. Like, do you think, like, I graduate on Saturday and I know like I'm seeing my friend, like I graduated last year, but our ceremony is this Saturday and like I'm seeing friends and like all this stuff. Do you think high schoolers are going to do the same thing? Like, it's been a year, like, let's all get together now that we can.
Yeah, so I really don't know because last year there definitely were still kids that had those big grad parties because their parents were like, we're not going to cancel it, like screw COVID kind of thing. And
Mhm.
they were like, you want this, so we're going to let you have it. But I do know other people that canceled their graduation parties. And once things like started opening up at the end of the summer, instead of having like the huge grad party, they just have like a group of their close friends that just like stayed over and they, went out or like did whatever or went to the beach or whatever. But I mean, like, I'm not planning on having like a grad party. And I know like my friends that didn't have grad parties are not planning on doing it like now. So I don't know if there will be or not, but I don't think as much from like high school. I know with like college and stuff, Paige, I know some people that were like in your grade are definitely gonna do that and stuff just because like I feel like college graduation is not more important than high school, but it's kind of like your last like big party kind of thing before you start working. But yeah, I don't think
I know we do joke about that, Ashley, that Paige has been working for about a year with us, and now all of a sudden she's going back to graduate.
Yeah. It's very backwards.
It's very strange. She said it's kind of strange. I've been working.
Yeah.
But so I want to talk really quickly about parents before we wrap this up, because, I'm a parent and I have 2 high schoolers that go to the same high school that Delaina, you go to now, and where Ashley, you graduated from. What do you think the perception is of parents regarding alcohol and prom and graduation? What do you think most parents are saying to their kids, are talking to their kids about? Because I'm sure there's a conversation. Is it a conversation that's like, let's keep you safe? Is it a conversation that's saying, you cannot drink, don't drink, don't drink, don't drink? What's the conversation that, maybe your parents are having with you or that your friends' parents are having? What do you think?
Well, right now my parents are basically just saying like you need to make sure like your friends are safe. Like don't do anything that will get you in trouble. Don't do anything that will hurt your body, hurt your mind. They're like, but if someone else around you is doing it, just make sure they're safe. You don't want to end up like in some illegal situation, in some like health crisis. Like you don't want anyone to get hurt. So they're pretty much just like be responsible and just go out and make sure everyone's safe. So that's my conversation that I've been having with my parents. I know some people's parents are kind of just like, whatever, just like make sure you're okay, text me, kind of like that. Some parents are like, give me your keys. I know a lot of parents that are like, keys on the counter, that's it. I don't care if you're drinking, I don't care if you're all sitting there on the couch, like just give me your keys because I don't want to be responsible for anything, God forbid anything happens. I know some parents just turn a blind eye, and then some are really strict and they're just like, no, like, and they kind of are, which is almost kind of worse because it's like you want to talk about it. So God forbid something does happen, you have had that conversation with your kid. But mostly it's people like kids and parents have a very open relationship and they kind of just set boundaries for both of them so everyone knows where they stand within like the kid parent kind of relationship. But yeah, no, it's very open with me personally and my parents. But yeah.
Ashley, is it about the same with you?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I know like I do have some friends' parents who are like, I'd rather you like drink in the house where I can like, supervise you kind of thing, as opposed to you being at a house by yourself where I can't watch you. I also know some parents who like take their keys and are like, you're staying in the house, whatever you do kind of thing. But a lot of like me and my friends' parents, they're like, if you are gonna drink, like do it responsibly, like make sure everyone's safe, like don't go over your limit kind of thing, like just be cautious kind of thing.
And I think it's so hard nowadays, like to say like, don't ever touch drop. Like, obviously that is the goal. That is what we all would like to hear. But we also know that it's not like sometimes, it's just not reasonable, I guess is the word, like in the real world. And so like, that's why we always talk about like what we call harm reduction. Like we want people to be as safe as possible if they do decide to make that what we would consider a bad decision considering it's illegal. But it's like, be safe and make sure your friends are safe. And there's so many ways to do it, like having your emergency contacts. Like I know on the iPhone, like you can have like your medical ID and it has like your emergency contacts and stuff like that. Like have that set up on your phone. God forbid if something happens and you're somewhere, maybe you don't really know like people around you, they can just go on your phone and be like, oh, mom emergency contact, hey, something's wrong, we need to like get her help, like 911 Lifeline legislation. And we also have the Overdose Prevention Act, so that applies to marijuana too. If people are, you know, having problems with marijuana, like we have both those laws protecting our youth. So I feel like there's like a lot of good things that people know about, hopefully, that they can do, like if they decide that that's how they want to celebrate, although there are all so many other ways to do it.
Well, I have so much hope too, since Delaina was telling us that so many kids know about that. So I feel like we're getting, the word is out, and we're getting everybody to really understand that these are available to keep them from being in trouble. Because I know, you know, when I was 18 years old, the last thing you want to do is get in trouble. You know, I don't want to get in trouble. So, you know, you want to save a life if you need to at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I just want to say thank you so much, Ashley and Delaina, for coming on with us and just giving us that younger perspective. I mean, it wasn't that long ago for me, but it feels like everything's different now and I know nothing. But also to any of our listeners who are graduating or going to prom, or even if you were a 2020 graduate, happy graduation, happy prom. We hope that you enjoy. It's, you know, a great moment in life, and it's, you know, these big moments, friends and families. So thank you so much, you two, for joining us. And for more information about how to celebrate safely, visit our website at njprevent.org/positive youth. And thank you for listening in. We'll see you next time for more Youth Positively Speaking.